We see that on your Instagram reels. That is the Instagram versus reality, literally. What's the reality version?
Ooh, tough one.
What motivates us to keep going and doing all these things?
It's a good question. We're trying to work out the formula. Whereas before it was like you just work. Whereas now we're slowly trying to work out how we do this, how we negotiate it. And I don't think we'll ever find the answer, to be honest. What I'm about to say is something I've probably never voiced before. But
You're still finding yourself experiencing burnout, despite the fact that you've multiplied your capacity by how many freelancers you've got.
they might not have the same experience I've had.
What did burnout look like for you?
I think...
Brad, mate, welcome back for episode 2.
Great to be back, mate.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this because I've seen a lot of the work that you've been doing recently, and we even tried to do an episode in Barcelona when we realised that we were there at the same time. But you're like here, there, and everywhere at the moment. Maybe just give us a bit of an overview about what's going on at the minute.
Wow, don't know where to start. So we last spoke. I think we said, as you say, we've not had time to catch up ourselves. So I've been really looking forward to this conversation. We spoke in May 2024.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
about
a year ago.
and 2 months ago. Since then, I've done what I said I'd do. I complete the marathon. That was great. That was my goal at the time. I was a lot of headspace was being kind of kept for that, and I've done that. And what's followed has been a phenomenal year, to be honest. I've had a great, whatever it is, 12, 14 months. Dreams seem to continue to be coming true. It's been crazy, but I must say, so we're in July now. I've just come off the back of the worst burnout ever last month in June. So I feel like this podcast has come actually at I'm just going to be really honest today, really raw. Maybe at times vulnerable as well, because I feel like people don't often see behind the highlight reel, and I think it's important.
As a photographer, you've literally got a highlight reel. Like we see it on your Instagram all the time. You know, a little while ago you were photographing Will Smith. Like, you know, you've been out to, you said Miami and all these sort of things. So yeah, maybe let's have a little peek behind the curtain. So we see that on your Instagram reels, and like that is the Instagram versus reality, literally. What's the reality version?
The reality is, I was having a conversation with my every time I do a podcast. Actually, I speak with my mum before. It's just your mum, isn't it? Your mum knows you best. I'm going on this podcast, and actually, the first one I done was with you.
Yeah,
I was a bit nervous. I found this morning I was excited. Called my mum, and it was still for. I think with your mum, it's always for advice a little bit, isn't it? But it's nice coming from the angle of I'm not nervous. I'm just excited to have a chat. And my mum says to me frequently, she says, "Your Instagram stories, they look amazing. Your life looks incredible." But she says, "I know your life's incredible," but she also has that peek behind the curtain. She has that more granular take on things, I guess, where she sees the absolute burnout, the exhaustion. You know, when I go home and I can barely talk, you know, because you tell your mum these things. She has that peek behind the curtain. And I guess really and truly what's happened, I think, last month is the culmination of not just a busy year, but a busy 5 years since I started the business. And what I decided to do, me being me, add to my workload, I decided to try and do an Ironman. You asked me this morning, just before we spoke for 2 minutes off camera, you said to me, "Why are you doing an Ironman?" Sometimes I think as well, when there's quiet moments where I think, why am I doing an Ironman? And since January this year, I've been tested to the core, mentally, physically. It's been... I had a crazy workload as it was, and to add in something and try and get over the line 7-8 months of training, this is something that, you know, people said to me, "You sure about this?" People that believe in me, "Are you sure about this, Brad?" "Yes, I'm fine." "Why don't you try and do a half Ironman first?" "No, I'm fine." There was obviously a little voice in the back of my head. I love the people around me to bits. There's no one's opinion who I trust and respect more, but I just felt like I had to do this. And why is that? I think maybe in my career and all the amazing things that have been going on, I'm sometimes in pursuit of something even better. And you asked me in the last podcast, kind of what does success look like? I still don't know, but what I do know is them endorphins, that, you know, the marathon we spoke about, seeing your people, you know, cheering you on, seeing them at the finish line, that cold pint at the end, knowing you've earned it, you've deserved it, your people are proud of you. People are proud of me anyway, but I just felt like I've done a triathlon, I've done a marathon, let's try and do an Ironman. And that culminated into a pretty lonely, tiresome, dark month last month, to be honest.
But like, I've not done an Ironman, and I'm going to sit here and say, like, you can, if you want to, just say, I'm doing so much and I'm burnt out, maybe like let's park it for next year. But that's not how my brain works either. If I've said I'm going to do something, I do it, and I'm probably at the same time I'm trying to add in more and more things. And like, going back to what you said there, like I don't know why, I don't know what I'm in pursuit of, and I think this is the reason why this is called Ambitious Minds. Like I think it's all about this. What motivates us to keep going and doing all these things. But do you know what it is with you? Like, why is it that you don't say, do you know what, Brad, enough's enough. I'm going to park the Ironman for now. I'm going to continue doing my job, and maybe I'll actually try the half Ironman first. What is it that stops you from doing that?
It's a good question, and I think what I'm about to say is something I've probably never voiced before. But if you go back to when I was in banking, 2017, I went on a year trip to South America, and it was phenomenal. And it was all the more special because I thought that was my only chance to do that. I thought, I'm stuck in this banking job. This was before I even picked up a camera. To me, this was the 1 year off, and I was so grateful to my corporate boss. Thank you so much for letting me have a year off. Thank you, and then just thanks for letting me rot for the next 20 years, like, because that's how it felt. But thank you for this year. It was phenomenal. And I think, so 2017, going back, so I would have been, maths isn't too good, 23, 24. And I think there was definitely something there. I was posting a lot on Instagram, my personal story. I was keen to get a good photo, and I was keen to post them as well. I was keen to show people what I was doing. I don't know whether some of that, going back now, it was so long ago, maybe there was some sort of looking for some sort of gratification for something. Don't know why. I wouldn't say it was a severe case of it, but I would say, you're posting a picture, you're checking how many likes you've got. Why? That feels like a different person. And the difference is now, everything I do, I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it for myself, and I'm doing it because I'm always trying to test boundaries, test limits. I heard something on, Chris Eubank said something on a podcast. He said something when he's training for something, when he's on the treadmill, and the last 20 minutes, they might hurt. But if he can't complete those last 20 minutes, it's going to come over into that next training session. And he knows that. No one else cares, but he knows that in the head. So for me, the tunnel vision I've got now I've come out of this spell with the burnout, I have to do this. I have to. I feel like when I'm training for something like this, it becomes my destiny, if you want. And if I don't do it, people will give you a little pat on the back. They'll be like, oh, it's a shame you can do it. Oh. Then after that, no one really gives a fuck. Yeah. Like, it's just me that's then got to shoulder that. So I have to. That's the answer.
It's interesting you say that now, because at the start of the year, I went through what I can only describe as burnout. So the podcast had taken off. I was doing one episode a week. Work has been incredibly busy, and it was getting busier and busier and busier. And I'd just been promoted at work, and I got to a point where I was like, I literally can't do all of this. I can't host a podcast once a week, do the editing, like arrange it all, post on social media, and also do my job. And my job is it's not a 9 to 5. It's like a 8 o'clock until 7, 8 p.m. at night. So it's like a 12-hour day. And it's the first thing I think about when I wake up. It's the last thing I think about when I go to sleep. And then chucking in what is essentially like a startup with it as well. And I reached a period of burnout, and I actually let myself miss an episode for the first week. So I did let's say 42 episodes, one after another. And then I missed one because I was like, I just can't do this. I'm just not. And I had 5 recorded, and I just couldn't actually post it because I just felt I couldn't even listen back to myself. I got to that point where I was like, I can't even listen back to my episodes. And I feel like I'm not disliking it or not enjoying it. I'm just feeling overwhelmed by the amount of stuff that I'm doing. So I let one go. And actually since then, it's been more inconsistent, but I've actually got a better balance now. So now I probably post 3 every 4 weeks. And I had a leadership coach on called Nicole Soames recently, and we sat down beforehand, and she said, what you're doing is amazing. From the outside, what you're doing is incredible. But I said, I shoulder a lot of guilt on myself, not on anybody else, because I know that I'm missing episodes. I know that I'm missing weeks, trying to fit everything in. And she said, the only person who's thinking about that is you. The audience doesn't really notice that you're missing episodes. They don't think you're inconsistent. They're still thinking, what an amazing job you're doing. But for me, I was being inconsistent. And going back to what you said about Chris Eubank, I was like, I know that if I let one go, I'm more likely to let one go in the future. And it's not because I'm not finding the guests. It's just literally because I just don't have the time. I'm trying to do too much. And what she said to me about, remember that you're judging yourself way more than anybody else is judging you. And I think that was quite important. That was an important lesson for me to hear that. And then since then, I've been punishing myself less.
How do you find, it's a really interesting take, because I see the progress you've made alongside not even a 9 to 5 and 8 to whenever,
Yeah.
and it's phenomenal. So kudos to you. It's been amazing watching. How do you find, I find sometimes momentum is a big thing. And momentum, I build myself sometimes to a point where it's like a steam train. And what you've said there's interesting. You know, you miss one and actually you come out of it actually, it sounds like more productive in a lot of ways. But do you find that you are also, when the momentum, do you feel like you have to build it up again?
Yeah, that's the problem.
It's tough, isn't it?
Because when you're on that steam train or that rocket ship, that is carrying you into the next one. You're rolling, but you're not stopping. And I'm someone who likes my meditation, for example. I like to have my quiet times. But when you don't even value your quiet times, which is what I got to, like, I look forward to my weekends, partly so I can actually spend my weekends like looking at the episodes, listening to them, thinking about what I'm going to post the next week and all this stuff. When you get to a point where you stop enjoying that part of it, that's when you know, I think, that the momentum is no longer in your favor. You kind of have to take these breaks in order to rediscover, to be at 100%. Whereas I think that I was just doing everything I thought I was doing everything at 100%. I was actually doing it at 80%. Whereas if you actually just recharge your batteries a little bit, you can do each episode at 100%. I think that's the conclusion I've come to recently with the help of Nicole's. But I don't know the right answer. And this is the problem, right? And this is the ambitious mind again. It's like, I want to be doing one every week. I want to be trying to learn to do a marathon, for example. I want to have better gym routine. I want to spend more time at home. I want to do all these different things. Like, I holiday quite a lot still as well. I don't know how to fit all this in at the same time.
There's a trade-off for everything, isn't there?
Literally, there's a trade-off.
There's a trade-off for everything. And I'm just been thinking lately as well, our generation, do you think although we haven't quite cracked the formula as to how to juggle everything, because it's impossible, isn't it? You can't function 110% at everything. You just can't. I try to sometimes, and that's where burnout comes in. But do you think there's a gap? There definitely seems to change. You know, I've got friends who, their parents, or one of my best mates, his dad, he works and works and works, absolute workaholic. He's and the best of what he does, absolute best, but doesn't take a day off and doesn't sometimes seem to have that ability to kind of take stock and be like, right, I'm doing well here. I could take a rest. Doesn't, or whether he can't or he chooses not to. There seems a difference with our generation that we at least we're trying to work out the formula, right?
Yeah,
Whereas before it was like you just work. Whereas now we're slowly trying to work out how we do this, how we negotiate it, and I don't think we'll ever find the answer. To be honest, I think it's very intricate and it's different depending on your lifestyle. You know, we're doing different things, but yeah, we're trying, aren't we? We're edging towards maybe not an answer, but just trying
to discover it. But then I also find that that's sort of the process of discovery leads me onto different things. So for example, it's like, meditation. So, okay, that's meant to be really good. So listen to podcasts, meditation is great for quieting the mind. Okay, well, that also takes time. Then it's like, okay, well, I want to be healthier. So all these, like, wearing the Whoop strap, or if it's doing saunas and ice baths and this sort of stuff, all of a sudden you're like learning about how to be, I guess actually what I'm trying to say is, the podcast I listen to, I'm trying to be more productive. Actually, it's very unproductive. Yeah,
there's no guidebook, is there, as to how to do all this? We're just working it out as we go along. What you just said there is like crazy, right? And on the subject of these watches as well, I don't know about you. I'm going to look at mine now. It's the best and worst present I've got. This was for the Ironman, and the positive is it helps me track everything, and my coach is happy and tells me my heart rate. But the negative is, the watch is so negative. It's telling me I'm overreaching. I've had the best week of training ever. It's my rest day. I want to be enjoying it, and it's telling me I'm overreaching. My training readiness is poor.
But is that your momentum again? Your momentum in your head is, I'm having the best week ever because I'm smashing my training. But actually your watch, which knows your body, is actually saying, Brad, mate, take a break.
So maybe I'm being fueled on momentum and not actually anything concrete. And I don't know in later years whether I'll pay for that. But yeah, I think, going back to what you said there, it's interesting how we've both had very good years. We're both lucky enough to be doing, well, not lucky, we work hard, but we're doing well at our respective crafts, and we're still trying to work out this formula.
Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it?
Do you feel like your friends are the same as you? Are they all trying to do all these different things like you are?
No. I get told by people around me that I'm an alien. Yeah, my family say it, my friends say it. Well, I mean, we're all different in our own ways. They excel at things. I've got friends that would excel at things on maybe the practical side or the analytical side, way better than I would. But no, I don't know anyone like myself. And sometimes that's it's difficult in the sense that I can't really, when I start to, I wouldn't say I'm a moaner, but when I'm under it a little bit and I start to trying to explain to people, sometimes I feel like people are just like, well, just take a step back then. It's just like, it's that simple. And I can't blame them for thinking that, but it's the way my mind works. It's like the biggest disco, the biggest party, and the lights are on and the music's on. That just the music never goes off.
But you burn the candle at both ends. So looking at your Instagram stories, you will finish a gig at midnight, get foods, and I'll see that you'll be running for a train at 4:50 in the morning. So talk to me about that.
It's just the way I like things. Honestly, it's the way I like things. When I go to I find actually that when I'm working in America, I find that things are. They say London's meant to be a 24-hour city, but it's not. A lot of trains finish at like 12:30. It's a disgrace, really, in 2025. You go to America and like just things are happening all the time. Just like things are on all the time, and that I probably won't ever move to America. But I just like it like that. I like. Again, it's a momentum thing, isn't it? If I go to an event, I was at the Tottenham Stadium a few weeks ago shooting for Young LA clothing brand. Okay. Super cool. One of my new clients. That was amazing. And I'd said to my it was my cousin's stag do earlier that day, but I had a bit of a clash with work, and I could have done without the drinking, to be honest. It was, it's close to the Ironman. I finish up at the Tottenham Stadium at 11 p.m. About 10 drinks in. I'm like, I've got the content by then. Everyone's hugging me saying, love the photos. I've done my job. One eye open, I can't see. And then we're going to Inca in London, Soho. I said, what now? He was like, yeah, now. And that was the first time I can remember that actually thinking, cool, this might be a bit beyond me. I was exhausted. I'd done a 100-kilometre bike ride that day. And I was like this. And we was in the taxi on the way there. I didn't tell the lads I was with at the time. Was going through Kentish Town, and my brother lives there with his missus. And it was about 2 a.m. By then 1 a.m. I called him on the sly, and I was like, if he answers, I'm getting out. I'm staying at his house because we're not going through Liverpool Street where I live. I'm getting out. And that was the first time I think the next day I had a hangover, and I just thought first time I thought I can't live this lifestyle and do the Ironman. So then I had to take stock, and then that was a really, 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 really dark week. I was just like, I couldn't. People were calling me, people that I love dearly, friends, family. And I'm looking at the phone, and I was just putting it back down again. I was like, I can't give my normal level of energy, because that's what my friends will say about me. I had a nice chat with my two best friends a couple of weeks ago, like soppy over beers, drinks. What's the best thing about you? And the thing for me was, just the energy, and just, we'll always make it a party. We'll always keep the energy high. And recently, I just felt like I didn't have that in me. I didn't have it in me. I thought, just wait, give me a week or two. And actually, today, my first rest day, I've been eating well, been drinking a lot of water, been consuming good media as well. Because how important is that? Feel great again and feel ready to go.
So what did burnout look like for you?
I think June last month, it taught me that maybe I certainly have thrown around the word burnout in the past. Even I might have used it when I was in banking, when how easy did I have it really in 9 to 5? You didn't bring anything home. Wouldn't want to go back to that at all, by the way. But with regards to structure, so much more structured. I might have used the word back then. But it's just it's a feeling. It's something you can't describe, just like yours would be something that you probably can't quite describe. It would be, going to work and, getting great photos and finishing the day, delivering the photos really quick, because I've been been trying to be on it with everything. And the review comes through the same day, 5-star, love the energy, life and soul. It's like I'm just reading it, and I'm like, there's nothing behind the eyes. I'm like, that. It's amazing they think that of me, but guess what? I'm on 1% at the moment. So, and I didn't have that extra 5% to think, oh, that's nice. They still think that when I'm like this, but it's like things were kind of almost going on around me, but I was still functioning, and it was crazy. And there'd be times when, not just last month, this has happened bad, really, like a couple of times in the last few years, when just every now and then just your vision would just go a little bit, you know, my eyes would feel sensitive. I'd wake up some days and I'd have to put sunglasses on. Just my eyes were just, you know,
Wow.
It doesn't really happen that often anymore, but just constantly just being awake, just constantly exposed to, you know, I hate how much I've got to be on my phone and my laptop. It's very hard to get the screen time down. You know, a lot of it comes through.
It's your job, literally.
Yeah, and I've got a fantastic team, but, you know, I want full oversight of everything. So what does burnout look like? Yeah, just like things are, all these 5-star reviews popping up around me, you know, and it doesn't feel like they're about me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm not. I feel frustrated that I wasn't giving my all, but my all was clearly good enough for them to be ecstatic. So it makes me wonder, after this Ironman, what percent I can get myself back up to, because there's a lot more in here.
It's interesting that you said about the, like, looking at the 5-star reviews and not even being able to appreciate them, because we spoke earlier about, I did the episode with Dodge Woodall, and you brought it up. You were like, that's an amazing guest to have on.
Phenomenal.
That was probably at the time at which I was suffering from what I perceived to be burnout. And I was getting so much positive attention from this. Maybe that was part of the problem as well, that I was getting like a lot more followers, a lot more people reaching out, a lot more guests, potential guests were reaching out to me. And I was getting so much positive feedback from Dodge, from his team. They were posting stuff. They chopped something up. They posted it on their channels. That should have been a moment where I was like really, really proud, and that made me feel really special. And I was like, I can't appreciate this right now. And it's wrong. Like it's
sad.
Like, it's sad because
Yeah.
it's not the reason why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I'm enjoying it, but I wasn't able to enjoy the moment where it sort of, on my journey so far, had reached a new peak. And I wasn't able to enjoy that moment. And that's the really sad thing. And again, going back to what Nicole said, like if you just take it a bit easier, maybe you'll start to enjoy everything that you're doing. Being a bit more inconsistent, or not using the word inconsistent, but being consistent, but with doing less, doing 3 episodes a month as opposed to 4, because 4 is causing burnout. 3 is 75% of that. Might mean that you're able to get on top of things again and enjoy it. Because it wasn't right that I do that episode with Dodge. All this positive stuff comes in the back of it, and I can't celebrate.
It's funny, isn't it? It sounds like you. We spoke on that last podcast about kind of gamifying things, making life like a game. And it sounds like if you look at it like that, if you're in this little game, without realizing, you hit a amazing checkpoint there.
Yeah.
You know, a point where you could have only dreamt of a couple of years ago, and you didn't even know. You're always hitting these checkpoints, and you're so burnt out that you can be like, whoa. And I get what it's like. You can't reflect on things sometimes, but you hit a point that you could have only dreamt of, and because things are going so well, you can't. It almost doesn't make sense, does it? Because things are going so well, you can't really appreciate. You don't have the headspace. So, I feel you on that completely, and I think we need to. That's one thing we need to crack, the formula of how to stop and take stock of things and think, wow, killing it. You know, because you are killing it, and you should have that. You know, whether it's 5 minutes or an hour, to sit there and be like, yes, come on, Jay.
And that's the problem, that people around me are giving me the positive feedback, but I'm not celebrating it myself. And James Smith, who's a really good, like really popular YouTuber, spoke about this as well, that you should celebrate your like 1,000th follower as much as your 1,000,000th follower.
I heard that.
But even like 1,000, 10,000, whatever your milestones are, you need to celebrate them all, because otherwise you were so happy when you got your first 1,000 followers, for example, or like your 100th client. But then if you add 100 to 1,000, well, that's only a really small increase at that point. So that every time that you're changing your measure for success. So if you get to 1,000, 100,000, and 110,000 or whatever it is, then you can't celebrate the remaining part of that.
Yeah, it's a great way of looking at it. And also, as the milestones get more and more significant, you're looking at longer and longer between the milestones sometimes. You know, you might, your idea and my idea of success and a big win, you know, something 5 years ago now wouldn't even register. It's my everyday.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, literally.
Which is great. So if you don't, I'm going to try and take that away, because I think I've heard that little segment of that podcast or whatever he said. Interesting. Yeah, because I feel like I'm sometimes guilty of, you know, if I've done a massive job, you know, there's loads of hype around it, and it's like the pictures are in the papers, and my friends are like, "Wow, how did you get that?" You know, not they believe in me, but that's Brad, that's phenomenal, fantastic. And then the next day I'm shooting a corporate event. You know, that corporate event, I'd have given anything 5 years ago to be in that, to be earning money from just getting fed, you know, water, treated well, you know, like just work in the room.
And now it's just a corporate event.
Yeah, but I tell you what, we better celebrate those. We better celebrate those days.
Yeah,
because they are all part of like an amazing process.
So you said about our generation are now trying to figure out ways to, you know, get on top of things, appreciate things. Have you come across any strategies that you like, that you're trying to implement, that will help you to celebrate or appreciate or like slow down a little bit?
I'm at a point now where the way I see it, there's no way me doing so well the way I see it is there's no point me doing so well if I can't bring in the other people around me. And nothing makes me happier than seeing the people around me happy. So I've found that by actually, you know, my brother, for example, my brother's just become a photographer. He's fantastic at what he does. His ceiling is, there's no way I'm going to say I'm record higher than mine. He's starting, but the thing is, Toby's starting he's starting at the same age as me. Yeah, I got him sorted with the same setup I'm using 2 days before his 27th birthday last week. Yeah, so by same age as me. What I didn't have was myself as a mentor. And I felt like I was kind of doing it all blind. And it's funny that some of the people I was reaching out to in the first couple of years didn't reply, and they're now messaging me.
Yeah,
so what Toby's going to have in me is what I would say the best mentor, not just for business, but just because I love him as well. And he will fly. And that makes me grateful. That makes me grateful I can be in a position where I can bring someone I love in to something I've built. And that, you know, when I saw how happy he was with that camera, you know, I kind of stepped away a little bit, and I was like, I'm grateful, I'm blessed. So just stuff like that, you know, being able to, I always say this, like, I'm certainly not the oracle, but being able to sit down with other friends and, you know, try and work out what they want to do, where they want to take things, you know, knowing that at this point in my life, I would say, you know, I'm doing well. That is my priority. I think, just making sure that everyone around me is good.
Is that, what have you discovered, like, what your purpose is? A lot of people talk about purpose these days, and, you know, that's a sort of like their North Star, their driving force. Do you know what yours is? Like, and I guess that's what, we can answer that question, then that's going to help us to keep us focused and probably be able to celebrate the things. Because if we're always doing stuff that aren't aligned to what our purpose is, then we're just doing it almost for the sake of it. But do you know what yours is? Have you ever thought about it?
I don't really. It's such a big question, isn't it? And I think what makes me a little bit more relaxed about the not knowing is, you know, every day I'm in a fortunate position that, you know, every time I click that shutter, you know, people see a picture of themselves, they're smiling, they're happy. So while I'm working that out, I'm making people happy every day. And that to me is enough for now. We discussed last time, it's not money I'm seeking. That doesn't translate into happiness, as has been said a million times, you know. But an overall purpose, I think it's just to, just for now, continue making people happy. And that's not at the expense of myself. I'm living a dream. You know, I love what I do. We talk about the burnout, but I'm living my absolute dream. So for now, I'm happy to just keep on this like upwards trajectory, which I said last time, and I'm not really answering the question. But for now, things are going so good that I'm happy to just kind of like see where this all lands. Whether I end up being I'm mentoring a few people at the moment. Whether it ends up being a coaching thing, I've signed. Annoyingly, I'm the worst person to sign an NDA because, you know, I won't break it, but I want to. There's things I want to talk about, things I'm going to be, places I'm going to be going to speak soon, you know, in front of some really cool people. So we'll see where that lands. I'm going to be doing a lot more speaking, which I think is good for myself. But while I'm working it out, yeah, just as long as I'm seeing the smiles back at me when I'm doing what I do, then that's fine for now.
Let's actually talk about what you are doing, because obviously, really important topic, burnout, and how do we try to prevent it, recover from it. But like, you're also having a great time as well. Like, some of the things I'm seeing you doing deserve to be celebrated. Like, talk to me about what's happened in the last few months in terms of places you've been, people you've shot, contracts you've won, or whatever.
Yeah, so it's been, I would say it's probably the last 2 years, I think, the last 2.5 years that things really took off. So I think maybe today I'm guilty of, you know, we done that first podcast, you know, not everyone would have heard that. And I wanted today to be, you know, honest, raw, real. But yeah, just as I said then, yeah, things are getting fucking amazing. I'm so... Excuse my French. I know my nan's gonna be listening to this. My mum will show my nan this podcast, and she won't say anything until that part. She'll be, oh, why are you swearing? Yeah, that's what happened.
We'll bleep it out for nan.
Yeah. The last 2.5 years, dreams have just come true in every single way. I decided about 2.5-3 years ago that I was getting so much traffic through the business that I had to kind of utilise it because I was giving all the work away. And I was able to kind of somewhat clone myself because I now find myself in a position where I've got a phenomenal team, photographers, videographers. We shooting everything from, you know, corporate events, music videos, personal branding stuff, you know. And I'm in the fortunate position that I tend to, you know, I look at what comes in and I'll just shoot the things that I want to shoot the most. So this year I've been to Brazil, shooting parties on top of Sugarloaf Mountain.
Wow, really?
Yeah. I went to Colombia. I was shooting for a boat company in Jamaica with these blue water it's like a shade of blue you've never seen. It's crazy. And last year was crazy. In November I was in Miami. It was crazy. Skepta, Fatboy Slim.
Really?
Yeah, Travis. And so I've spoke about this before, but it's crazy how you spend so long wanting to get into the room, and then one day you realise, you just look around and you're like, I'm in the room. I'm in the room, and you're looking around and it just feels so right, because there was for the first couple of years this element of, you know, trying something new, you know, winging it a lot, and you know, how do I get in that next room? How do I get them? There's still more rooms along the corridor for sure, and that's what makes it so exciting. And that's one of the reasons I'm hungry, because there is more. But I feel more than ever I'm in the room. I've arrived, and it still feels surreal, but yeah, things are momentum. You know, to mention that one more time, is a massive thing. And for all the burnout, for all the exhaustion, you know, I've built something here which, you know, it's not going away. We're still rated #1 in Europe on Bug, and that's, you know, couldn't have done that myself. That's the team. That's photographers, videographers. Yeah, it's funny because it's hard to really summarise what I've been able to build. I don't often reflect enough at all.
This is the chance to.
It's the chance to, yeah. It's the chance to. It's I in some ways I can believe it, but in some ways I can't. It's crazy, and I can't remember the last time I spoke this openly about it. But my life is, I couldn't describe it if I tried. I couldn't. You know, being able to build something where I've got complete independence is crazy. You know, my brother said to me last year, infamously, he said, you go to America like it's the end of the Elizabeth line. And I just think to myself, wow, the freedom I've got to be able to just, like, tomorrow I could just, like, take a job in Miami.
Yeah.
The only thing stopping me would be whether I can get there in time.
You'll try and find a way, though, won't you?
Yeah, I'll try and find a way. Yeah, we shot Luke Littler actually last year for Boohoo, and it was like I was in Guatemala, and they needed someone the next day in Cardiff. I tried. Like, no surprise. There was nothing that was going to get me from Guatemala City to Cardiff in time. So, but on the subject of being able to clone myself, you know, gave Matt a call, and Matt got there. So, I can't believe that I've built something where I'm certainly not the boss of these people. They're all amazing freelancers in their own right, but you know, having a team not beneath me, with me, to be even more powerful, and to be able to be in a place where because sometimes jobs come in and I'm on a cool job already. And I don't want to lose it. I speak to one of the guys and they can do it, and it comes under the banner.
So this is what you're most nervous about when you at first you were a freelancer on your own, right? So you were going around taking photos, and then you were concerned about actually essentially employing people or working with freelancers because it was an extension of your reputation. But actually now you've seen the successes of that and how much positivity it's brought, because you've got a really good team around you of people that you can delegate jobs to, amazing jobs as well, like the Luke Littler one, which you wanted to be there for, and you can then ask somebody else to go on your behalf because you know the quality of their work so high.
The thing is, though, you don't at the start.
You don't.
It's petrifying, kind of like giving the reins to someone else, and various chats to my family about it. Should I, shan't I? Should I, shan't I? And it's funny that a lot of people you speak to that one-man bands, I ask them why they've not done it, and they say because I can't find another me. And I get that, and I'm certainly not going to find another me. But it depends whether you want to take it into a business, which I did. But if you let go, it could end up really bad, of course, but it could also end up amazing. And the things I've been able to do with my life, from having that flexibility that comes from being able to delegate things to other people, is phenomenal. So petrifying, and it could have gone so different, but there's no wood to touch. Touch wood. If it continues going the way it is, then I'm very, very lucky to have found amazing people that seem unbelievably invested in what I'm doing. No one's going to be as invested as you are, but I took that leap, and I'm not going to sit here and say to someone with their business, you have to take the leap, because it's very, they might not have the same experience I've had.
I think that a lot of people, when they are considering growing the business and employing people, it's because one, they want to scale and they've reached capacity with just you or however many people there are. But there's an element of it as where people say, if I can employ people to do my job, I can then have more free time and I can choose the jobs that I want to do. But you're still finding yourself experiencing burnout, despite the fact that you've multiplied your capacity by however many freelancers you've got.
Yeah.
You're still not able to take the required breaks that you need. You're still going off all over the world to do shoots. You're still trying to do the Ironman. You're still trying to do whatever you're trying to do.
It doesn't, having people working with you, I don't think translates into just being able to hand over the reins completely, because there's, how it'll work is if a photo shoot comes in, I'll connect the client with who I think is best for the job. We'll make a WhatsApp chat and I'll let them two chat. And then the next thing will happen is the photos are ready. I'll get the gallery. I'll usually present it to them. I've got so much trust in the people I work with that I don't always check the gallery. The big thing is trust, also time as well. I wouldn't be putting them in that room if I didn't trust them to for that to be a good gallery. Yeah.
When we last spoke, I think you just photographed Matthew McConaughey, and for you at that point, that was that new peak that you'd hit. Who has it been this year?
Funny enough, this year I think Brazil was a flashpoint for me, and I shot my first boiler room this year.
Did you?
Yeah, I shot a boiler room in Brazil. I'm going to talk about a couple of things, but the first thing, chronological order. Brazil was crazy because Brazil was the place I started my trip when I was in that banking trip of a year, and it was the special trip for me where I thought this is the only time I'm going to get to do it. Rio de Janeiro just kind of hit different for me. Just this mythical place, they call it the city of God. Absolutely phenomenal. And I found myself back there. So I went for Carnival. It wasn't even really meant to be in a working capacity. I had my kit with me because I had a couple of little jobs lined up. I say a couple of little jobs. This is it. One was on Sugarloaf Mountain. How can I refer to that as a little job? And I was out in... Because people don't see as well. So these jobs don't just magically, they don't just appear. I'm still sending emails. I'm still networking. And I was sitting in Rio de Janeiro. I'd been up to Christ the Redeemer before. So my friends, they was going up there. And I was going to go with them. But something telling me, don't go that day. It means no signal for 5-6 hours. I had a couple of big projects on the go. But crucially, we were sitting in the cafe before. One of the boys went, there's a boiler room today. I was like, nah. No, I'd know about that. But then I thought, why would I know about it? It's not one of my clients. Who am I to say I'd know about that? So we're sitting in the cafe and no one, I speak of like a good bit of Spanish now. Don't speak any Portuguese, and we're trying to get the Wi-Fi password quick, so we can get some good connection. And I've fired off that was when I first was looking into LinkedIn. I've managed to find out the marketing manager for Boiler Room, and I found her, and I've just thought I'd fire off a message. And I was like, just reply. I think I messaged her on Instagram in the end. You have to do a fair bit of digging to find out what their Instagram is. You just can't always find it. And I was like, something was telling me, don't go up to Christ the Redeemer. And the boys, I walked out the thing with them, got all the way to the entrance, and there was no signal, so I couldn't look at my phone. I said, boys, like, do this one on your own today. I'm not coming. I said, I've just got a feeling. I said, I've got a feeling I need to stay down here. So I went and had a coffee. I'm just sitting there. And I've kind of got in the back of my head, I'm thinking, like, that Boiler Room, it's a shame not to be part of that. I've always wanted to, never actually been to one, let alone shoot one.
I've watched them on like YouTube.
Yeah,
and stuff,
it's just
listen to them.
It's something you watch, it's something you hear about. You know, I always had this kind of air of like exclusivity around them. And I was having this coffee, and I still didn't have connection. And I just had this feeling, no word of a lie. Yeah, these things don't always come off. Of course, it's not like you shoot, you score every time. I had this feeling when I next connect to Wi-Fi, because I didn't have a SIM card in Brazil, it's going to be good news. And lo and behold, like Fabi, she replied saying, hey mate, amazing you're in my hometown. She's actually Brazilian, the marketing manager. Would love to have you there today. Started talking about budgets, etc. And I said straight away, forget the budget. I said, like, let me just come along, take some photos. Like, forget budget. Let's not make it a job.
Yeah.
Let's make this like just part of this wacky, wild, wonderful trip with my friends as well, who have always wanted to go to a Boiler Room. And I was like, I've got this motor taxi back to where I was staying. Do you know what killed me? The boys were not going to be back down for like 3 hours. So I wanted to tell them.
Yeah.
I thought, they're going to be so happy, because they'd just had a week as well of like all the parties I was working. They was all backstage, like, you know, having free drinks, like fist bumping, like they was having such a good time. And again, it was so nice to see. I was like, I can't wait to tell them we're going to Burning Man.
You've done that as well.
You can tell what's on my mind. Can't wait to tell them we're going to Boiler Room. So they must have got some signal, and they were like, oh my God, come back down. And we're all a bit tired actually after Carnival week is crazy. Yeah, I think it was 6 days into 7 days, and I said, we're going to Boiler Room, lads. And it was like, when you say about famous people I shot this year, that they was actually the people. We got there and it was just full-blown chaos. It was Brazilian like house DJs who are all massive. I'd not heard of any of them, but all the biggest local talent. I'd never heard music like it. It was like favela music. It was crazy. There was people like on podiums. There was the sweat that was dripping down from us within 5 minutes of being there. It was like being in a sauna, but the energy was absolutely incredible. And I just thought, when I woke up this morning, I wasn't even meant to be here. It was crazy. So that was like a flashpoint for me, being in the place that I thought when I was working in banking I wouldn't get to come back to being, how have I fashioned this for myself? And look at my friends' faces, and they're just the jubilation, the joy. And I was like, fuck yeah. So that was one. And I'm going to tell you about the second as well. I actually went out I was shooting a wedding in Girona, in Spain, back in, was it even March or April?
Well, that's when I said to you, like, we were trying to do it in Barcelona, because you came down to Barcelona.
That's it, yeah, and we couldn't quite make it happen. So I was my friends had were meeting me a few days after for a stag do. So this Girona wedding was perfect. You know, I can't take on every wedding now. I don't do too many, to be fair. But yeah, this wedding in Girona, and the day's going amazing. It rained a little bit, but then the sun come out. And I remember the sun come out, and then this guy walked in. I was like, where do I recognise him from? And I was like, I think I know, it can't be him. And I was like, I think that is the head of comms for Matchroom.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Boxing.
Matchroom Boxing. Yeah. Who I'd been trying to get in with for months, firing off emails. You know, I'd done one job for them, but I wanted to be involved closely. Yeah. Hard to get in these companies because they've got great photographers, you know, very, very hard. Almost wouldn't say closed shop, but when you're on the outside, it feels like it sometimes. That can't be him, can it? I was like, I'm going to kind of just shot my way over, just taking pictures of people on the way. Like, do you guys want a photo? Like, this guy and his missus, yeah, got a photo. And I was just like, what's your name, mate? And as he went, Matty, and I went, Matty. He said at the same time, he was like, yeah, mate. And I was like,
it's a bit weird.
Mate, it sounds weird, yeah, but luckily it didn't come across like that. And I was completely sober as well. You know, felt on top of my game, sharp. The day was going great. And I was like, mate, I've been trying to get hold of you for about 6 months now. sent you about 2-3 emails. And he was, oh, sorry, mate, I know what it's like. I'm so bad sometimes that people asking if there's opportunities sometimes takes me ages to get back. So I get it. Busy man. We ended up having a lovely chat, like for like 30 minutes. Like it was so nice. Spoke with his missus, took his details, got his WhatsApp, and then somehow a couple of weeks later, I'm out in New York, and I'm covering Ryan Garcia against Rolly Romero, and I went out to New York thinking I would just be covering the pre-events. There was an event on the Wednesday. It was Eddie Hearn, Oscar De La Hoya. That was just amazing enough to be involved in. I got there, started saying hello to everyone. How you doing, Matt? Like, it was like great seeing Girona. Thanks for helping me make this happen. By then, it connected me with like the head of global content, and then that's Wednesday night, and I'm like, any chance of coming along to the press conference? I was like, yeah, I don't know. It's hard. It's tight. He connected me with someone from DAZN, and I get to the press conference, and I didn't know at the door whether I was on the list or not. And they handed me the lanyard. I was like, yes, press conference. The next day I'm at the face-off. Yeah. And then I met Conor Ben.
Yes.
Conor Ben and his lovely wife. And the following day, Friday morning, they're like, do you want to come shopping with us? Do you want to come take some pictures?
Fuck.
And bear in mind, when Conor walked in anywhere, this was just after the Eubank fight.
Yeah.
Hot property.
It was like a couple of days after, wasn't it?
It was the following week.
Yeah.
It was the following week. Yeah, I think like the bruises had just started to fade. Yeah, what a lovely guy. What a lovely couple. They being swarmed by paparazzi, and at the face off the night before we done this shoot, he was being there was about 20, 30 photographers, flash. And I saw, I think it was his agent, and I thought rather than just shine a light into his face, I just went and spoke to the people around him. How you doing? How you good? Like just being a human, just having a chat, not just another photographer, just like taking an unsolicited photo. Just how you doing? Like, and then the next day I'm in Gucci and in Burberry with like Conor and Victoria. I'm in like I'm not a car man, but I'm in the SUV or the Hummer, whatever it was with them. And he's getting out and everyone's like Conor, and I think he realised how big his profile was in America. And I'm like about midday. It'd been a great day. And I excused myself. I was like, it's been so good that I want to let them enjoy their day now. I was like, I'm off now, guys. I'll get you some photos over later. And then I looked at my phone, I got confirmation of a text that I would be the person for Matchroom covering the Fighter Hotel that evening. I was the one photographer for Matchroom covering the hotel. Now, the actual fight was in Times Square, and it was a chaotic night. And I posted these photos recently, and like people messaged me like, "You were actually in that room?" I was like, "Yeah." Like, my friends couldn't believe it. I was like Ryan Garcia's warming up. Like, I followed Ryan Garcia for years. You know, I think he's box office at times, and I'm taking pictures. And he says to me, "What's your name? Like, where are you from? What's your story?" And I'm like, "This guy's about to go and fight in less than an hour in front of millions watching, and he's asking me." And we're having a chat, and I remember the hotel, there was, 60, 70 security guards. It was crazy. There was a ring of steel around it. And the feeling of, them just saying to everyone, you can't come in. And then just the waves like parting for me as I came in was just phenomenal.
Jesus.
I was like, I fashioned this myself. I came out a win for this Wednesday event and ended up landing Matchroom as a client. And a month ago, Matchroom called me, can you come and take some pictures in Bethnal Green of one of our fighters? And that's how it happens sometimes. You take that punt, that New York trip was all work for me. There was no play. And as you know, everything I do, there's 99% of the time there's this play as well. Like I'll have a good time and anything. And I had a great time. Don't get me wrong. But on the final day, I thought I was due to go home on the Sunday. The Saturday, woke up and I thought, what should I do? I met some cool people the day before. They were saying, should we go out day drinking? I think there was another fight on. I can't remember what fight, but they was going to go and watch it on TV or something. And I thought, nah, I'm going to check myself into the Standard. And which is ridiculously, the price, oh my God, like they don't tell you about the fees, do they? They get there, it's $200 more than I thought. And it was like, right, it's time to pay. I was like, right, okay, I'm committed now.
Taxes and all that sort of stuff on top.
But I just sat in the bed, I was just like looking over the High Line. And I thought New York actually in 2022 was the first overseas trip we done. I took my brother, who was my creative director at the time, my ex Jess, who was taking photos, my videographer Mike. That felt like it felt like a full circle moment, you know. Wasn't really winging anything anymore. You know, I'd come here and I'd secured one of my dream clients, and I was going home to London with, I could be as burnout as I wanted. Like I had that client, you know, I'd done the business.
So to go full circle in all of this, if you were giving advice, if you were seeing this in one of your friends, and if you were giving your friends advice about the burnout that they're experiencing, all these things, what would you say to them?
Oh, tough one, because I always say this, I never recommend people doing it the way I do, because it's to feel like you're on 1% is dangerous. You know, some of the sleepless nights are, you know, long term not good. So it's hard for me to really answer that question, because I feel like people that love me might say that sometimes I don't take their advice.
But we're always very guilty of giving other people advice that we don't listen to ourselves.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to somebody else in your circumstances?
In my circumstances, I would definitely say take stock more. I would say take stock more, find time to like rest, and I've done that. I know 1 week doesn't equate to much, but I've done that last week. You know, I would probably say, yeah, just enjoy it, and I'd probably snap back with, but I do enjoy it. I love it. But yeah, just I am trying to take stock more, and that would be the advice I'd give. Just enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, and just think about those full circle moments. Look back, you know, piece the things together, because it's special. It's really, really special. Just to not...
Do you think like being in here today, because there's no Wi-Fi in here, this room's soundproofed, we've not got our phones, all we've got is a conversation. Do you feel that these sorts of things help?
Yeah, I think it's testament also to yourself. You're a great host. For someone to feel like fully relaxed, I would say I'm an open book to some extent, but I wouldn't spill all this to just anyone. I think it helps. Yeah, it's nice to have these times where you just, as you say, no phones, and you can just have a chat.
Yeah,
you know, like it's lovely. Just I think there's so much with what we do. It feels like there's so many boxes need to be ticked sometimes. So many things need to be done. Sometimes nice to just strip it back and just have a chat.
Because that's what we're always on, right? We're always on our phones. We're always like, your job is on social media. Like, you're not only are you doing a job, but you're posting about it. Same with me in the podcast. But it's like we never actually switch off from the technology stimulation or from like the stimulation of the jobs that we do. But when I created this podcast, the concept of it initially was recreating those conversations over a beer with your mates. Like when you go and you talk about work or life or whatever it will be, like the challenges you're going through or the wins that you're going through right now. That was what the idea of it was. And it was trying to then bring that to other people. And I kind of feel like that's all what we're doing right now, to be honest with you.
Just without the beer, did you run out of budget?
Without
Give
the
me
beer.
A water. I would love a beer.
11 a.m. It might be a bit too early, but it's never too early, I guess. But no, it's literally like sitting down and having a conversation. And I think that we've maybe like lost that a little bit. Life now is engineered to be a lot more independent as opposed to talking with other people. So it's behind phones. Like the idea of social media is quite ironic because it's unsocial media. You know, we're posting to the world, but we're not communicating with other people. Maybe that's one of the areas where we're all losing out a little bit, is that we're not doing this as much as we should. I noticed actually in the last year that I'm not seeing my friends as much as I would like to. I'm still seeing them, but just nowhere near as much as I would like to, because I just feel like I'm too busy all the time and struggling to fit things in. Do you still find time for your social life and your friends?
Absolutely. Yeah, I feel like my work, you know, my work-life balance, just to reiterate the point, the burnout recently has come, it's been accentuated by the Ironman training.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's kind of like really tipped it, I think. But I feel like my balance is phenomenal. I very rarely work weekends. This year even while I was training, I've been to, as a Brazil, Colombia, Dominican, I've been to like another like 7-8 city trips. It's meant to be my quiet year. Try and find as much time as I can with friends and family. But absolutely, with, you know, using my nan as an example, before I'd try and see her once a week. and now it's like in person, maybe 2 to 3 weeks. So I try and bridge that gap with phone calls. But really, I try not to get, family's everything to me. But what I'm trying to do now, especially the next year or two, is I'm trying to build something that stands the test of time and enables me to walk. I don't think I want to, but enables me to walk away if I want to, and then I'll have all the time in the world for people around me. But now I feel balance is good. Yeah, I feel like I find. I'd like to think that the people close to me will say that I'm always there. I'm the first person to check in on them. There is some feeling of spreading yourself thin sometimes, which you can't help. When you've got I wouldn't say my circle's particularly big, but I want to devote enough time to every person if I can. So you do spread yourself thin sometimes, but I would say as of now, my balance is it's great. Yeah.
So it's really the Ironman that's tipping over the edge at this point.
Yeah, it is. But I know that. So in true me fashion, what my plan is. Oh God, even just thinking about it now. But even though you wouldn't usually see me so, but like it's with the way my legs feel today, they're like 2 slabs of concrete. Yeah, like I've barely been able to put one foot in front of the other. So my plan is at the mighty Tottenham. So since we last saw each other in person, we've won a cup.
Yeah,
crazy work, crazy. So was out there for the final, which is another example of me not being willing to let Ironman training stop this amazing year. I'm not going to miss those things. I'm going out to Venice on the 13th of August for the Super Cup final, playing PSG. Then after that, I'm thinking about going to Lithuania and Latvia for a week of just chilling. And then on the 23rd, I've got the Ironman in Estonia.
23rd of what?
23rd of August.
So it's 6 weeks away?
In 2 days' time, yeah. So that's when the Ironman is. And in true me fashion, so my mum and dad, God, the support, because they've seen me at my lowest ebb with this, and they've still, just on the off chance for all this, they were thinking he could still do it. They've booked to come out to Estonia. The Ironman's a Saturday, 23rd. Their anniversary is the Sunday.
Is it?
Yeah. I don't think it's quite a milestone. I'm hoping it's not because I can't mess up. But they're going to come watch me. I'm gonna smash this Ironman. Next time we speak again, I'll have done that. Like I believe it in my heart. It's my destiny at the moment. The plan is to then celebrate on the Sunday, and then Monday 7 a.m. I fly to San Francisco to meet my friends for Burning Man. So I see this after the Ironman. I see it as back to normal, and then after Burning Man, I'm going to Hawaii, and then I've got some bits I've signed.
Is that to chill?
Hawaii's to chill.
Okay.
And then you'll see me shooting something pretty huge after that, which I can't.
So you NDA now, but you're allowed to post about it and tell people what you're doing once it's done.
Yeah, that'll be September.
Okay.
So Burning Man, Hawaii to recover from Burning Man, and then back into work. And then I see going back to kind of how it was, just jetting all over the place and just kind of, because what's stopping me at the moment is I want to this weekend. What I really want to do is I want to go to Barcelona. I want to. Did you try the Honest Greens when you was there?
Honest Greens? No.
We'll talk about this offline, but just it's like I'm getting paid for this. I plug it everywhere. I'm like, it's like a chain in Barcelona. It's like Nando's but on steroids. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's like good food.
Yeah.
Because I've recently I've done a food intolerance test. I've got a few annoying allergies, things I've got to avoid. What I want to do is tomorrow I want to fly to Barcelona for a couple of days and just eat Honest Greens, to be honest. but I also have to do a 5-hour bike ride on Saturday. I've got to do a 3-hour run on Sunday. And then Monday, I think I've got to do an hour swim. So it's like, right now, I can't do that. I can, but it's going to mean I've got to join a gym in Barcelona. I've got to rent a bike. So right now, I can't do it. So it might not seem like a big sacrifice, but to me, all of a sudden, not be able to travel, like I've not been in that position in the last few years. So, but it's only till August 23rd.
Yeah, six more weeks of doing
Six more weeks of locking in. I feel like the last week has been transformational for me. I feel phenomenal. I feel hydrated.
What have you done differently in this last week?
So I'm guilty sometimes of, when I'm on, and, I can do, especially since moving to London, I can do 3 to 4 jobs in a day, giving a couple of those jobs away. But the big thing has been, I've started getting food from a meal prep company, which has been an absolute game changer, because not only has it freed up time that I don't have time to cook, just the time I don't know how people enjoy cooking. I really don't. Then you've got to wash the stuff up after. It takes over an hour. I don't have that time. Probably could find the time, but I don't want to. Yeah. So I've got some food from this company, and I'm now having 3 home cooked meal, phenomenal food.
What company are you using?
Thrive.
Oh yeah,
Thrive,
okay.
yeah. Like I would really
I'm going
recommend
to try and
it.
get George on he's
Yeah.
the founder of it on the podcast.
Yeah, yeah. What he's done is pretty cool.
He lives around here as
He
well.
does, yeah, yeah. I think he's an Essex lad.
Yeah.
But that's freed up so much time for me, and actually, I feel fueled again because I wasn't eating properly. I was just going to corporate events and just eating picky bits here and there, and trying to do it when you're training for an Ironman. Now I'm getting up, I'm having porridge, I'm having 3 of those Thrive meals, I'm drinking water.
Smashing 3 meals before you in the morning.
No, I'm having the porridge in the morning,
okay.
but then throughout the day I'm having 3 of the meals. Yeah,
Like proper loading.
run after that, mate. No. But good media as well. So the last week I've just been watching exclusively. If I had a podcast, one person, a dream person for me. Have you heard of George Heaton?
Yeah.
Yeah, who is the
What's his
founder of
company?
Represent?
That's
Yeah.
it.
Almost, I wish I'd started watching his videos sooner. Followed him for a while, but almost the blueprint to me of, I think he's one of the greatest minds of our generation when it comes to marketing, when it comes to design. Him and his brother, phenomenal stuff. I've been taking in good media. Not that I wasn't before, but that time where I could just be scrolling on, when it's off season with football, I download Twitter again. I look at the football rumours. That 2 hours I could be spending on Twitter. I'm now taking in good media, eating a home cooked meal. Yeah, if you could somehow get him on one day, that'd be phenomenal. You've come across him, yeah?
Yeah, of course. I'm actually going to try and search for a podcast I listened to recently. Not with him, a guy called TJ Power.
What's he do?
It's called Ali Abdaal Deep Dive with TJ Power. This guy TJ Power, I think he's not a neuroscientist, but he's specialised. His focus has been in neurobiology, and he looks at dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and something else. It's called Dose Labs, and he actually talks about social media use as being one of the reasons why we feel a lot more burnt out. So it's in the dopamine section. So waking up in the morning and scrolling, you're draining your dopamine levels, or whichever way around it is. I think it's actually you're giving yourself too much dopamine, and you're basically burning it, essentially cooking your brain, or burning out your brain. So that when you experience other things throughout the day, you're not able to enjoy it as much as you would usually. And for me, I listened to that about 3 weeks ago, and that's been pretty transformational for me. He says the best thing you should do is not look at your social media in the morning, because scrolling will literally be flooding your brain with dopamine. Whereas if you can put your phone in a different room, or if you can get outside or be in nature or something like that first thing in the morning, instead of looking at your phone, it will be transformational. I implemented that one thing a few weeks ago, and that has been the biggest change I've made. I'm at risk of exaggerating here, but in years. Just by not looking at social media in the morning. And I'll just recommend anybody to look at Ali Abdaal's Deep Dive with TJ Power, and understand. He gives a framework about what all these things are, and in ways that you can improve your use of these different chemicals in your brain. And that was massive for me. So just no social media first thing in the morning. Come to social media at some point in the day, but I've actually downloaded an app now called Opal. And Opal is a hard shut off. Yeah. So you can't even, usually it says screen time limit reached, and you can just go, okay, I don't care about that, and continue scrolling. This is between the hours that you've set.
Nice.
It blocks your phone completely from using it. Now, as someone who is, in inverted commas, a content creator now, because I have to be posting on social media, what I do now is at the weekends, I schedule all of my posts for the week, and I let it run. And sort of counterintuitively, I thought if I'm always posting on social media and getting stuff out, that's going to lead to traction. By doing it at the weekend and scheduling it all, I was able to post more, and then one of them did 2 million views. Wow. And that's, again, has been transformational for the amount of downloads that I'm receiving on my episodes. So kind of putting something in place which is less social media use has translated to happier, and also more, I've had a post that's gone viral on social media in that time. And I think there's a bit of a lesson there.
Interesting. Yeah, it sounds like it's been a game changer for you.
Yeah, that one podcast literally has changed the way I think about it.
Crazy. And again, there's that good media thing, isn't it? Taking good media. taking in stuff like this when it would have been way easier that day, I guess, for you to just scroll.
Oh, of course,
Would have
yeah.
been way less to
But-
think
but-
about.
But we all feel burnt out after scrolling.
Yeah, it's that. I wanted to touch on what you said there, the dopamine. I've heard this before, and I've always wondered. It's funny because they call it doom scrolling, don't they?
Yeah.
When you're scrolling through, it doesn't feel like I'm getting a dopamine hit when I'm scrolling at all. You don't get any sort of, in this kind of performative, what seems like perfect world of social media. I wonder why. I wonder how we're wired to get a dopamine hit from that, because it seems pretty, especially with the state of the world at the moment. You know, can't deny it. You know, it seems more. Seems like it do the opposite. No.
Yeah.
Where does that hit come from? Is it just the easier media, the access we have to just just being able to scroll and just look at whatever we want,
and then occasionally be shown things that you would actually stop and look at.
Yeah.
But I guess also, do you find yourself that when you are scrolling on social media, your phone use gets faster? So like you're scrolling, you're flipping between apps faster. You almost get like a little bit like chaotic energy.
Yeah, but I find as well something that's helped me with my other than work stuff. My screen time is pretty low now actually. I find that Twitter, for example, and I want to ask you this question: if you were just scrolling on Twitter or Instagram, do you remember anything the next day that you saw?
Good point. No, not really.
So that makes
I've got
actually
so many things I've favorited and never come back to.
never at all. So that makes that a complete waste of time.
Complete waste of time. Yeah. All it
Crazy.
does in the meantime is make you angry.
Yeah, I still do it sometimes. I mean, it's got so much better. You know, the Daily Mail. I'm not a massive fan of the Daily Mail, but I like it for the sport.
Yeah.
Just for the sport. I'm not saying it's not all factual. When it comes to the news in the real world, I try and avoid it now. To be honest,
Yeah.
it's. I know we can't bury our head in the sand of everything, but just some days I don't want to be confronted with another thing has gone wrong. You know,
Yeah.
it's just crazy. And also, one thing to touch on. This is kind of on the subject of good media. Might be, I don't know whether I'm bored. It's bordering on taboo what I'm going to say here, but if we are being honest and having a raw conversation, speaking about good media and things to take in and things not to take in, I would encourage a lot of males especially to listen to a podcast about the benefits of not watching porn.
Yeah. He speaks about that as well.
He
by
does?
the way. Yeah.
Because I don't mind saying that, a couple of years ago I heard a podcast that stopped me doing that, and it was easily one of the best things I ever did. So, just on the subject of just being honest.
Just in being open now. Have you quit completely?
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. There was we're being so honest here. There was I was laughing with my friends as well. There was a period where
This is the pub chat, mate.
yeah. My Instagram pub chat without the beer. I'm saying this stone cold sober, guys. There was a period a few months ago when Instagram, it just it shows you things, doesn't it? And how the algorithm works. If you click it, it will show you more of it. It's like, oh, we likes that. Let's show more of it. There was a period where my Instagram got the explore page got so spicy, out of nowhere. And I was like, how does this happen? I haven't searched anything, but it's because I'm clicking things. I'm just saying, why did I click that? It's like so I realised that, this is being so honest and frank here. I think I was at an event and I think someone put their Instagram in and said, let's connect. That was before I'd kind of really harnessed LinkedIn, which I am doing now, which is amazing. Put the Instagram in and the explore page. They went to put their name in and I was like, oh my God. I know they got a glance of it. And I just thought that is so unrepresentative of kind of where I'm at, so unrepresentative. I was like, that's got to change. So I said to my friends, you see my explore page? It's got crazy. And I looked at theirs. Theirs was exactly the same, but I was like, why am I in the same bracket as you? I was like, I don't even watch porn.
Yeah.
So I just completely reset it, and I just find that just with it's a whole other conversation, porn thing, but just with regards to masculine energy and just feeling charged and just feeling on and just feeling feeling in the moment, just with various things, I find it's an absolute game changer, and I would implore any guy to at least look into it.
Because after you do the deeds, you've got no motivation, and again, this is what he speaks about. You can be in the middle of the day bored, and then you're all of a sudden you just got no motivation. You're laying around. You don't want to go out. You don't want to go to the gym, because you've just satisfied your natural
just your
male
testosterone
drive
has just left you.
Yeah.
And it's we've all been there. Kind of growing up. When you first discover porn, it's amazing, isn't it? It's you know, I thought,
Probably at a young age as well.
yeah,
like,
sure, for all of
particularly
us,
now with the
countless
internet as
hours
well.
been lost or gained, whatever way you look at it, you know, like brilliant, you know, like, you know, like don't get me wrong. There's like, I'm sure there's been times where I've thought like I'd be the easiest thing to just like watch porn again. And with the thing is, with porn hasn't got to be a pornographic video. We're fed porn everywhere, aren't we?
Yeah.
You know, whether it's like, you know, whether it's the soft stuff, you know, people like Bonnie Blue, what they're doing, you know, where you scroll on Twitter, you can't escape it. But
Yeah.
I just think by being more conscious in the media I'm taking in, I found has been a huge game changer for me, because I don't want to be doing things that sap my energy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to conserve it. I'm trying to take over the world here, you know. so yeah. So that's it's been a big thing.
Have you looked recently at how sleep can impact some of these things as well? Because I said earlier on that from the outside looking in, you're somebody that burns a candle at both ends. Now I'm someone that's become quite obsessive about sleep in the last 2 to 3 years. Is that something that you're aware of at the moment?
It's something I'm definitely aware of it. I think I've got I wouldn't say it's always been the case, but I think I've got a fairly unhealthy relationship with sleep. Not worryingly to the point where I don't, but you know, my this watch, it told me like last night, for example, I got 6 hours 40
Of sleep?
Yeah,
That's pretty good, actually.
I'd say it's pretty good.
'Cause if you go to bed for 8 hours,
Yeah.
you're probably only likely to sleep for about 6.5
Yeah.
to 7 hours. So
That's good for me.
Yeah.
My average probably actually asleep is about 5 hours on a weekday. Weekend will be all over the shop, you know. But I find that I'm trying to do what I can. You know, we're all like, there's 1,000 supplements you could take, isn't there? Everyone will tell you this is the thing to take. I'm taking magnesium, I take zinc, I'm taking something for gut health because I've had some stomach issues. I don't really find any difference with the magnesium. The issue for me is I am aware of it, to answer your question, but I just find it hard to shut off. You know, my for example, my release at the moment with all this training, you know, I'm not drinking, I don't smoke, you know, I'm eating well. So my release at the moment is after, like, yesterday I done like a 2K swim, I done a 10 mile bike and a 16K run. Last night I was in bed, I was like literally comatose, but do you know what couldn't switch off my mind?
Yeah.
I was thinking about Burning Man. I was thinking about, God, get this train out of the way so I can actually like let my hair down for a while. So frustrating sometimes because I want to sleep. I was tired in the body, but I find that you know, this is the big thing for me. I know that I'm generally, you know, happy guy, you know, I love my life, like in love with it, I'd say. And I find that when I know I'm like really, really happy, I'm actually laying in bed and I'm thinking, oh, I just want to get the sleep over so I can start tomorrow. I just want the sleep out of the way. And I see sleep as I've never actually said this, but I see sleep as a bit of an obstacle for me,
Wow.
an obstacle to overcome, just to kind of get to the next day, the next level. And it's just something I'm just like, just let me sleep. But I'm so excited about things. I'm so like, I switch off late as well. So it's like not work stuff, just general, you know, just whether it's listening to music, whether it's watching a bit of Netflix, which I've been doing lately to try and switch off a little bit. But yeah, it's very much an obstacle. I admire people that can sleep for 8 hours every night. I find it tough.
Yeah.
What's your average?
Probably is about 8 hours.
Yeah.
Of actual sleep, it's probably about 7 to 7.5 hours of actual sleep. But like wearing the Whoop was quite transformational for me because it was showing me like how much of it was deep sleep, REM sleep, and basically how much of it was quality sleep versus light sleep. Now I'm very lucky that I put my head down. My mind is very active. I listen to podcasts or music or something at night time. So I just put headphones in and I'm asleep within 2 minutes.
Every time?
Every time, yeah. And I sleep relatively well throughout the night. But then like it was using supplements and like, not drinking alcohol and having consistent sleep times. That's one of the most important things from what I understand is having a sleep routine. So I'm going to go to bed at 11 o'clock every night or 10:30 or 10 or whatever. Like George, who, you know, my brother, you know him, he goes to sleep at like 9:30. But he wakes up at like 4:30 in the morning because that's his time to go out for a run or do his work or his quiet time. But if you've got a consistent schedule, then you're more likely to be able to fall asleep at that time. Whereas if you're sometimes going to sleep at 2 a.m., sometimes going to sleep at 11 p.m., you know, and it changes all the time, then it'll be a lot harder for your brain to essentially prepare you to get to that point.
Yeah.
Now, for your job, it's probably not practical. The amount of times that you're flying and changing time zones and that sort of thing, it's probably very, very hard. but routine, I think, is one of them. Having like a wind down routine before bed as well, like less social media, like less blue light, and those sorts of things.
It's hard with a lack of routine, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, my dad always says this to me. He says, "Oh, you know, your lack of routine doesn't help you with the sleep." You know, it's like this week actually has been one of the most. I don't really know what normal is anymore.
Yeah.
And I love that, to be honest. But this week, I was shooting for the Oman. I was with the Oman president on.
That's such a random
Such
thing.
a random, on Tuesday, and then during the event, they must have liked how I was doing things because someone come up to me and said, "Are you free tomorrow evening?" I said, "I can be. I can move some stuff around." And I said, "I'm with the Panama government." So last night I found myself with the government of Panama, and there was both kind of jobs that I'd finish at 8 o'clock. So come home and it's relatively early. And I'm like, if every week was like that, I think I'd sleep easier. But it's not. Sometimes it might be like a 1 a.m. finish or a 2 a.m. So yeah, I just think I'm still working it out, and maybe a supplement will come along at some point that will completely knock me out. There's probably loads I could be doing more to look into it. And actually, I think I will go away and I'll think about long-term how I can sleep, not just sleep better, but just get quality sleep because I want to be around for a while.
Yeah, and some people as well can perform really highly on minimal sleep. Arnold Schwarzenegger was one. Margaret Thatcher was one. I think they're outliers in life. I think that most people do need like a level of quality sleep for rest and recovery. You're doing an Ironman at the moment, so your body does need to recover properly.
But just on that, the frustrating thing is when I've gone through every emotion under the sun with the Ironman. From the word depression gets thrown around. I would say the last month, I actually had a form of very, very mild depression because I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
Very mild depression, yeah. And that's not a worrying thing. There's a lot of stigma around it. But last month was tough, yeah. Loneliness, feeling like I was going to let myself down. But come that weekend of the Ironman, the night before, I think the overarching thing is going to be excitement. And because that excitement, I won't sleep properly. I already know now I will not sleep. I will not get quality sleep the night before that Ironman.
Yeah.
And that is so obstructive to my goals, isn't it?
Yeah.
But how do you get around it? I can't turn off the excitement. I don't ever want to.
But I had something similar right before climbing Machu Picchu. Like the night before, it wasn't actually because I was exciting, but it was because I was ill. So I was like backwards and forwards in the toilet with altitude sickness.
Oh, so not so good.
No, it wasn't so good.
Bad time to get in.
I reckon I had maximum 1 hour sleep that entire night, and we were up early to go. But still, the excitement and the adrenaline of actually starting that hike got you through. Like I wasn't tired that day. In fact, I felt, stronger and fitter than ever.
Yeah, autopilot.
Yeah,
You just go into a state of
just adrenaline that day. Like, and Julia was like, should we cancel it? And I was like, nah, of course not. We're going to cancel it. We're walking. We're going to be hiking Machu Picchu. It's like 5 days worth of hiking. I'm not going to cancel it just because I didn't sleep well last night. And it was amazing. And like that first day, I felt full of energy. So it's the way our brain works is weird. But I think for long-term health, fitness, recovery, your skin's great. How'd you do that?
Yeah.
How'd you keep that? Yeah.
Oh, actually, I've got like a spot on my neck that I'm hoping the collar is covered.
Considering that you're pushing yourself to the limits, your skin looks really good. Is it
Thank you, I appreciate it. No, I actually so this year I found out that I've got some I've done a food intolerance test.
Yeah.
And I got told that it was gluten, milk, yeast, wheat, egg, everything you could think of. And what's happened is I think I've just been, the last few years I've been eating whatever I want. I haven't really had like a diet, and I've been probably not been as healthy as I could be. I've actually, with these home cooked meals, they're dairy. It's only a recent thing, but even before that, I'm trying to avoid dairy. I'm trying to avoid gluten. I'm avoiding eggs. And I've actually, funny you say that, because this year my skin has just been permanently flushed.
Is it?
Yeah.
So that's diet, you reckon?
Yeah, diet, definitely. If I start eating those things again in excess, you'll see the flushing again. And it's been something I've been trying to overcome. I went to see specialists about it. My friends thought I was being extra, but I want to feel good, I'm in the public eye, So actually, I decided to do something about it. And when Burning Man comes around, I will be eating all these things in excess. I'll be drinking anything, and then I'll revisit after. Probably be flushed after that. But what I've done this year is I've put a lot of time into identifying kind of what's good for my body and what's not. And I'm doing everything I can to avoid those things. It's difficult because I love my food, but I put a lot of it down to diet. Yeah.
Which we'll finish on this now. But what website or provider did you use to do your intolerance test?
It's a company called. So I've done the blood test through a company called Blue Crest Wellness. and I'd done the food intolerance through it was through a company, but actually the lady, I'm going to give you those details offline because I can't think of the details.
Yeah.
But I would say with the food intolerance test, it can be you just need to look out for one. I've done a pinprick test.
Yeah. Okay.
4 or 5 years ago, and it brought up bananas as my
Yeah.
what I'm allergic to. And I'm like, well, definitely not, because I'm eating bananas every day. But
Is it because you'd been eating it that it showed up?
But funny enough, since then I was like, okay, well, I'll avoid them then. Stopped eating them for 3 years, and it went from level any high reactivity is anything from 16 above, I believe. Bananas was 65 in the red. My recent one I done 3 months ago, bananas was, it couldn't have been less of a thing. It was like 1.
Right.
So I just think with these things, you've I'm no expert on it, but I would look out for one that's not just the pinprick, one where you go in and they take your bloods and they're a bit more thorough, because the pinprick could, I don't quite believe they are that accurate.
Yeah, well, this is the problem. It sounds like you've had a good one, because some people talk about mixed results with intolerance tests, and it sort of flags up things that they might have eaten the day before,
Yeah.
and it's just showing up, and it being a bit inconclusive. But it acts as a guide still. But from the sounds of it, you've actually had a really positive experience with this intolerance test, and it's then led you to changing a few things in your diet, which have led to a positive outcome.
It has, but it's not been easy. It's with the food thing.
Yeah,
I love
hard.
my food so much. It's not been easy. I'm a social person. I'm out a lot for food. This stag do in Barcelona, I avoided gluten for the whole thing, and then I was spiked with something like, that sounds really severe, probably accidentally. Actually, it's pretty completely my fault. Went for a kebab the second night, and I thought I'd obviously misheard him, because I was like, oh, just got chicken and chips. And he was like, yeah, fine. So I thought I must have just been too pissed to something happened, and I had gluten, and the next day I'm like really flushed again.
Jeez.
So it's like
So you know it as
well,
well.
the annoying thing is when you avoid these things, then the slightest bit can. So what I'm trying to do now is kind of reset my because your stomach's a big part of everything as well.
Yeah.
They told me that my gut was kind of like okay, but could be doing things to kind of push these intolerances away a little bit by taking like probiotics, etc. And even taking them for a couple of months, I feel so good now.
Okay,
It just makes you
that's
feel
good.
a bit more. I don't know what the word is, but don't know. Just overall function, you just feel good. I feel like I've got more energy again.
Less toxins in your body, probably less
Yeah.
inflammation, those sorts of things.
Yeah, I think so. I just think I'm very much. I used to be someone. I had always a lot of problems with one of my ears, so I used to take, at the peak of that, I'd be taking 6 paracetamol a day, and I built up I was taking tablets for this infection probably every 2 weeks, and what I'd done with that is I built up a tolerance to it. I built up a tolerance to antibiotics.
Jesus.
And because of that, I was like, when I'd come down with things, I'd be taking, and they just wasn't working.
Yeah.
And I haven't taken them for years now, so I try and do everything I can to find a natural solution first. I'll take paracetamol twice a year, maybe when the headache's really bad.
Yeah.
We're talking red wine hangover. The ones like, but just generally, yeah. I would recommend anyone who's performing at a high level with a busy life to put that. I probably spent £500 on those 2 tests.
Okay.
I can tell you now, Blue Crest, if you type that into Groupon,
Yeah.
they'll have something where it's like £150.
Okay.
Priceless.
Yeah,
told me my iron levels were at the floor.
Okay.
I don't know what they're at now, but it's an insight you wouldn't have usually,
Jesus. Okay.
And it's we all the nice clothes we buy ourselves and the things we do to make ourselves look good.
Yeah,
the engine
literally.
inside is actually the important thing.
Yeah.
And I might sound like I'm preaching about it, but really I hadn't looked into this ever. So it's only a recent thing.
No, it's important that we're talking about these things because
it's a game
like,
changer.
everyone's out there struggling in their own little way.
Yeah.
And if we can make any small changes or listen to somebody and hear a company that's been effective or a thing that they've changed that's been positive, it's all good, mate. That's what we need to be doing, because I don't know what it is at the moment, but everyone seems to have an intolerance of some kind.
Things they're putting in the foods now.
I'm also eating meal plans at the moment because I actually really enjoy cooking, but time, and also I'm eating low FODMAP food at the moment, so probably similar intolerances to you. Milk is something that's high FODMAP, like things with like high levels of fructose in, so like very sugary foods.
Is that with the company?
Yeah.
Did you buy them from
It's called Field Doctor.
Field Doctor? Okay.
But I might actually try Thrive.
Yeah.
Because if you're experiencing good things with them and the food's good, I might give it a go.
I leant towards them because you've got a few. You've got Simmer. You've got
Yeah.
the Prep Kitchen or something like that. But I liked the fact they were all naturally dairy and gluten free.
Yeah.
But it's funny though because we're all still. I haven't worked it all out yet because I had a one of the meals is like a chicken rigatoni or something. I had that last night, and didn't feel great last night. I felt a little bit like I felt a little bit like almost like a return to the days when I was like eating things where I was like, the milk and the gluten. I was like, what is in there? There's no maybe these tests are not completely infallible. Maybe there are things. There's something. Funny enough, that's the second time I've had that on that plan.
Okay.
It's happened both times. So
Yeah.
maybe the sauce.
Listen to your body or something.
Yeah, but it's I've had this chat with. I talked to my dad a lot about the frustrations around. It was hard. It's almost like, going back to the Barcelona thing. I was avoiding things. I was drinking Strongbow dark fruit because it doesn't have gluten in it, and avoiding beer. And then I was just through a little slip. I end up with this rash again. I'm just like, for God's sake, it's like, I just want to enjoy my life. But the hope
it's
is
hard
that
sometimes. So.
Yeah, the hope is that you avoid these things for a while.
Yeah.
I've got a nutritionist as well. She's really good. The hope is that if avoiding these things, small term, what's the phrase? Small term cost for long term gain or something like that.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think it's a forever thing as intolerances. Some doctors, they'll tell you that you need to go and take this. Oh, just take this medication, take this, take that. No, I don't. I think we can do it more naturally.
That's not the solution. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, mate. It's been a pleasure, and thanks for being so honest on this as well. I really appreciate that.
It's been really good to chat. Today. I'm proud of how far you've come as well.
Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. I really do. Cheers, mate.
Pleasure.
Thank you.